Hello there, beautiful people. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's incredibly relevant in today's digital dating world, premature intimacy, or PMI. Whether you're actively dating or just interested in relationship dynamics, this video is for you. So, let's get started. First, what exactly is premature intimacy? In simple terms, it's when someone shares too much personal information too early in a relationship. This is especially common in modern dating, where digital communication can make us feel closer than we actually are. Premature intimacy, PMI, a concept gaining increasing attention in the realm of modern relationships, refers to the phenomenon of sharing an excessive amount of personal information at an early stage in a relationship. This trend is not just confined to romantic contexts but can also be observed in platonic and professional interactions, influenced largely by the evolving dynamics of communication in the digital era. At its core, PMI challenges the traditional timeline and process of intimacy in relationships. Historically, the development of intimacy has been viewed as a gradual process, where trust and depth are built over time through shared experiences and mutual disclosures. However, the advent of digital communication, especially with the proliferation of social media and online dating platforms, has significantly altered this trajectory. In the landscape of online dating, for instance, the barrier to personal disclosure is often lower. Texting and messaging platforms enable individuals to share intimate details with a sense of anonymity and safety that face-to-face interactions may not offer. This digital veil can create an illusion of closeness and familiarity, leading individuals to divulge personal information more rapidly than they might in person. The instant gratification and the perceived connection that comes from such exchanges can be compelling, pushing individuals towards more openness than what might be appropriate in the early stages of getting to know someone. PMI can also be seen as a byproduct of the current social milieu, where there is an increasing emphasis on openness and authenticity. In a culture that often celebrates unfiltered expression and the idea of "I" being an open book, the lines between healthy sharing and oversharing can become blurred. This cultural shift, while promoting transparency and authenticity, may inadvertently encourage PMI, especially among younger generations who have grown up in a digital-first environment. Furthermore, the role of psychological factors in PMI cannot be overlooked. The urge to connect and be validated is a fundamental human need. In the context of PMI, this need may manifest in the form of sharing personal details prematurely in an attempt to forge a connection or elicit empathy and support from the other person. This is particularly evident in situations where individuals feel lonely or emotionally vulnerable. The instant feedback and validation provided by digital interactions can be particularly appealing, driving the cycle of PMI. However, the consequences of PMI can be far-reaching. While sharing personal information can indeed foster intimacy, when done prematurely, it risks creating a false sense of closeness. This illusion of intimacy may hinder the natural progression of a relationship, as the foundation built on rapid disclosure might lack the depth and resilience that comes from gradual, mutual sharing. In the long run, relationships initiated or heavily influenced by PMI may face challenges in maintaining stability and depth, as they might be built on a fragile base of overexposure rather than a steady accumulation of shared experiences and trust. In conclusion, premature intimacy represents a significant shift in the way relationships are formed and developed in the digital age. While the desire for connection and validation is inherent, the platforms and modes of communication available today have accelerated and intensified the process of personal disclosure. Understanding the dynamics of PMI is crucial in navigating the complex landscape of modern relationships, where the balance between openness and boundary setting is more important than ever. Let's explore the psychological roots of PMI. It often stems from a deep-seated need for connection and validation. And with the rise of social media and online dating, oversharing has become easier than ever. Premature intimacy, PMI, is a phenomenon increasingly prevalent in today's digital age, where the urgency for connection and validation intersects with the platforms that facilitate rapid, often uninhibited, sharing of personal information. This intersection creates a unique dynamic in relationships, particularly in the early stages, where the norms and expectations of sharing are constantly evolving. The psychological underpinnings of PMI can be traced back to fundamental human needs. At its heart lies the deep-seated desire for connection, a cornerstone of human experience. This need for emotional bonding and interpersonal connections is hardwired into our psyche, driving our interactions and relationship-building efforts. However, in the context of PMI, this need is amplified and, to some extent, distorted by the mechanisms of modern communication channels, particularly social media and online dating platforms. In the realm of social media, individuals are often presented with curated glimpses into others' lives, fostering a culture of openness that sometimes blurs the line between public and private spheres. This environment can create a sense of familiarity and closeness that may not truly exist, prompting users to share personal details more freely and quickly than they would in a face-to-face setting. This can create a cycle where the desire for connection and validation is momentarily satisfied, but the depth and authenticity of these interactions remains superficial. Online dating platforms further intensify this dynamic. These platforms, by their very nature, encourage users to present themselves in a certain way to attract potential partners. The barrier to entry for sharing personal details is significantly lowered, as these platforms are designed for users to quickly get to know each other on a personal level. This can lead to a phenomenon where two individuals, who have just met online, might find themselves discussing deeply personal topics, like past relationships or personal challenges, much sooner than they would have if they had met in a more traditional setting. An illustrative example of PMI can be seen in the story of Emma and Alex, who met through an online dating app. Within the first few days of texting, they had already shared details about their family issues, past relationship failures, and personal insecurities. This rapid exchange created an illusion of intimacy and a false sense of closeness. They felt like they knew each other well, despite having never met in person. However, when they finally did meet, they found that the emotional depth and connection they believed they had were not as strong as they had thought. The relationship, built on the shaky foundation of PMI, struggled to progress beyond the initial stage of exaggerated intimacy. This example highlights the potential pitfalls of PMI. While the sharing of personal information is a key component of developing intimacy, but how much sharing is too much? It's crucial to find a balance and understand the importance of building trust gradually in a relationship. In the landscape of modern relationships, the question of how much sharing is too much is pivotal. Premature intimacy, PMI, arises when this balance is lost, leading to excessive sharing of personal information too early in a relationship. Understanding the importance of building trust gradually is crucial to maintaining healthy and sustainable relationships. The concept of PMI hinges on the recognition that while sharing personal information is a pathway to intimacy, there is a delicate balance to be struck. Too little sharing can hinder the deepening of a relationship, creating barriers to genuine connection. Conversely, oversharing, or PMI, can create a false sense of intimacy, leading to relationships that may not be sustainable in the long term. The key is to find a middle ground where sharing fosters genuine connection and trust, evolving naturally over time. At the heart of this balance is the concept of trust, a fundamental aspect of any healthy relationship. Trust is built incrementally, it is the result of consistent, reliable interactions over time. When personal information is shared too quickly, it bypasses the natural process of trust building. Without a foundation of trust, the relationship may be built on a fragile base of superficial intimacy. An example that illustrates the imbalance caused by PMI is the story of Sarah and Michael, who met through a mutual friend. Early in their relationship, Sarah, influenced by the norms of openness she observed on social media, shared deeply personal information about her family history and past traumas in their second meeting. Michael, not yet ready for this level of intimacy, felt overwhelmed and unsure of how to respond appropriately. This discrepancy in their comfort levels with sharing and intimacy led to tension and a lack of mutual understanding. In this scenario, Sarah's oversharing, a manifestation of PMI, placed a strain on the budding relationship. It created an uneven dynamic where the level of emotional exposure was not reciprocal. Michael, feeling a sense of imbalance, struggled to match Sarah's level of openness, leading to a disconnect. The relationship, instead of progressing naturally, became mired in the complications brought on by this premature depth of sharing. This example underscores the importance of pacing in the sharing of personal information. Building trust and intimacy should be a gradual process, where each person feels comfortable and safe in sharing more of themselves. This process allows for the development of a deep, genuine connection, rooted in mutual understanding and respect. In summary, finding the balance in sharing personal information is critical in avoiding PMI. It's about understanding that every relationship is unique and that the pace at which intimacy develops can vary greatly. It requires a mindful approach to communication, where both parties are attuned to each other's comfort levels and boundaries. By fostering a gradual buildup of trust and mutual sharing, relationships can develop a solid foundation, leading to healthier and more fulfilling connections. Let's look at some examples. On one side, we have a PMI scenario where personal details are shared too quickly. On the other, a more balanced approach. Notice the difference in comfort and connection. Alice and John's story. Alice and John met through a social media platform. Within a week of casual chatting, they decided to meet for coffee. During their first face-to-face interaction, Alice, driven by a desire to quickly establish a connection, shared intimate details about her recent breakup, family issues, and her struggles with anxiety. She felt that by opening up, she could accelerate the bond between them. John listened but felt overwhelmed. He wasn't prepared for such a depth of sharing on a first meeting and struggled to reciprocate at the same level. The imbalance created a sense of discomfort for John, who preferred a gradual development of intimacy. He felt pressured and uncertain about how to progress in the relationship, leading to an eventual withdrawal. Analysis. Alice's approach exemplifies PMI, where the rush to share personal and intimate details overshadows the natural pace of trust building. John's discomfort underlines the importance of reciprocal and gradual sharing for a healthy relationship dynamic. Emma and David's story. Emma and David, who met at a community event, slowly built their relationship over several weeks. Their initial conversations revolved around common interests, thoughts on books they've read, and their experiences in the community group. As they grew more comfortable with each other, they began to share more personal stories about their families, past experiences, and aspirations. Their sharing was reciprocal, neither felt pressured to reveal more than they were comfortable with. This gradual buildup of personal disclosure allowed trust to develop organically. They felt more connected with each revelation, strengthening their bond through a mutual understanding and respect for each other's pace. Analysis. This scenario showcases a balanced approach to sharing in a relationship. Emma and David's mutual and gradual disclosure of personal information fostered a solid foundation of trust, allowing their connection to deepen naturally over time. Let's ponder some questions. What drives someone towards PMI? How does it affect a relationship's progression? And what strategies can we use to maintain healthy boundaries? Exploring the critical thinking questions around premature intimacy, PMI, helps us understand not only the motivations behind it but also its effects on relationships and strategies for healthier dynamics. Let's delve into these questions. 1. What drives someone towards PMI? Seeking immediate connection and validation. In a world where instant gratification is often sought, individuals may turn to PMI as a quick way to establish a connection. Sharing personal information can give a sense of immediate closeness and validation from the other person. Influence of digital communication. The rise of digital communication, especially social media and online dating, has altered how and when people share personal details. The anonymity and distance provided by screens can make oversharing feel less risky. Emotional vulnerabilities, personal insecurities, loneliness, or past experiences can drive someone to seek connection through PMI. For instance, someone who has felt misunderstood in the past might overshare in an attempt to quickly establish understanding with a new person. Cultural and societal factors. In some cultures, there's a growing trend towards openness and transparency, which can inadvertently encourage PMI as a norm. 2. How does PMI affect a relationship's progression? Creating a false foundation. PMI can create a relationship that seems to be built on a deep understanding but is actually based on the superficial exchange of information. This can lead to misunderstandings and disappointments as the relationship progresses and the real complexities of each person emerge. Unbalanced emotional investment. If one person engages in PMI and the other does not reciprocate to the same degree, it can lead to an imbalance in the relationship, causing discomfort or pressure. Risk of burnout. Relationships that start with PMI can sometimes burn out quickly. The intensity of early sharing can leave little to discover later, and the initial excitement can give way to a lack of sustained interest. 3. Strategies to maintain healthy boundaries. Self-awareness and reflection. Being aware of one's own tendencies towards PMI and understanding the reasons behind them is a crucial first step. Reflecting on past relationships can provide insights into one's sharing patterns. Gradual disclosure. Adopt a gradual approach to sharing personal information. This allows trust to build naturally and provides space to assess the other person's response and comfort level. Mutual reciprocity in sharing. Pay attention to the balance of sharing in the relationship. Healthy relationships involve mutual and reciprocal disclosure, where both parties feel comfortable and willing to open up. Setting personal boundaries. Clearly understand and define personal boundaries regarding what to share and when. It's okay to communicate these boundaries to the other person. Mindful communication. Engage in mindful and thoughtful communication. Before sharing, consider why you are sharing and whether it contributes positively to the development of the relationship. In conclusion, understanding the dynamics behind PMI, its impact on relationships, and strategies for maintaining healthy boundaries is essential for fostering deeper, more meaningful connections. By approaching relationships with mindfulness, patience, and self-awareness, individuals can navigate the complexities of intimacy in a balanced and healthy manner. We all make mistakes, but learning from them is key. Recognize that intimacy takes time, respect your comfort levels, and be mindful of red flags. As we wrap up our exploration of premature intimacy, or PMI, it's important to reflect on the key takeaways from our discussion today. Remember, understanding and navigating PMI is a crucial aspect of building healthy, lasting relationships. Key takeaways. 1. Understanding PMI. Recognize that premature intimacy involves sharing too much personal information too early in a relationship, which can create a false sense of closeness and potentially destabilize the relationship in the long run. 2. Importance of gradual intimacy. Genuine intimacy is a product of time, mutual experiences, and a reciprocal sharing of personal information. It's about developing a deep connection that is built on a solid foundation of trust and understanding. 3. Awareness and balance. Be aware of your own sharing tendencies and strive for a balanced approach. It's important to match the level of intimacy with the stage of the relationship. 4. Emotional safety. Protecting your emotional well-being is paramount. Be mindful of your comfort levels and boundaries when sharing personal information. Common mistakes and solutions. 1. Mistake. Equating speed with depth, assuming that quickly sharing personal information leads to a deeper connection. Solution: recognize that true intimacy develops over time and through shared experiences. Take the time to get to know the other person and allow the relationship to progress naturally. 2. Mistake: ignoring personal boundaries, sharing personal details before you're comfortable, often due to perceived expectations or societal norms. Solution: stay true to your personal comfort levels. It's okay to take things slowly and share information when you feel ready. 3. Mistake: overlooking red flags, disregarding potential warning signs in how the other person shares or respects your sharing. Solution: be attentive and discerning. If something feels off, take a step back and reassess. Communication about comfort levels and boundaries is key. We all navigate the complexities of relationships, and understanding PMI helps us do so more effectively. Remember, it's okay to make mistakes. What matters most is learning from them. Developing intimacy takes time, and respecting your own comfort levels and being mindful of red flags are essential steps in building healthy, meaningful connections. Thank you for joining me in this discussion about premature intimacy. If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content on relationships and personal growth. Stay connected, be mindful, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, stay positive, stay inspired, and as always, keep spreading love and kindness wherever you go.